Today, I want to take you back to 2016/2017. For Call of Duty fans, it seems like we were only going to be getting futuristic Call of Duty games with exosuits going forward. But while Call of Duty was moving closer and closer to the future, there was an indie dev team that wanted to move to the past. An indie dev team that wanted to make a classic Call of Duty game, boots on the ground, that went back to the roots of what the franchise was known for. And no, I'm not talking about XDefiant, I'm talking about Days of War.
It's been 84 years.
There's a very slim chance that you might remember this game, and it's partially my fault because I only covered this game once on the channel back in 2017. But back then in 2017, this game was a breath of fresh air because they were doing so many things right that Call of Duty wasn't doing. You see, Days of War is a classic World War II first-person shooter, which I know the genre has been way overdone at this point, which might also explain what we're going to be talking about in a sec. But at that specific point in time, this game is exactly what we needed, especially if you were a Call of Duty fan, but also if you were a fan of Battlefield or Counter-Strike. It was going to attract Call of Duty fans because they were getting tired of futuristic first-person shooters. As you can see right here, the game has a class system, which was also getting Battlefield fans interested because this could lead to some really interesting team play. But if that wasn't enough, it was also going to draw in Counter-Strike players because a lot of the weapons had really heavy recoil. It was going to take a lot of time to master the game, to get good at controlling the recoil, and that widened the skill gap instead of keeping it nice and small. Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, wow, this game is phenomenal. It's probably got a gazillion players, right? In 2024, Days of War has a whopping player count of 0. This is most likely going to be their biggest game as of now, so we should try to be kind. I know that's difficult for some people on the internet, but again, this is not Activision, this is not EA, and they don't have the sheer number of people and resources to be able to take in that much. It's a smaller dev team, it's a smaller community, has less players, so go easy on them. Now look, we're in 2024, and I got curious. I wanted to see if anyone was still playing the game, and if we go to multiplayer to join a game, if you look at the server browser, we have a grand total of 3 servers with no players. Let's see what happens if I join this domination server. All right, we'll go ahead and play on the Red Army. I'm gonna pick a sniper rifle, sure, why not? Okay, so at least it spawns in bots. Wait, oh my god, wait, he was already dead. Yo, that animation is crazy. I really do think it's good that they added bots into the game. I was trying to find some videos covering Days of War back then, and really there weren't too many. Because back then in 2017, so many people were excited for this game, they didn't really have anything bad to say about the game, and it was shaping up to be a pretty decent sized release and, you know, possibly have a healthy player base. So what happened? Let's use this gun as a prime example, right? This thing clearly has a lot of recoil. I had to pull that down quite a bit. Even if I'm trying to aim it like at this distance, that's crazy. If I don't compensate for it, here's what it looks like. That's how much it's kicking right now. Now, at the time, I wasn't playing Days of War, and I didn't realize this, but apparently the devs were really insistent on making a pretty terrible change, honestly, where you wouldn't be able to ADS with any of the weapons at all. You'd have to hip fire, unless, of course, you had like a scoped weapon like a sniper. With a decision like that, it seems like they really wanted to move in the direction of Counter-Strike, basically not allowing you to ADS with most of the weapons in the game. And that's why I'm kind of confused right now, because we're here in 2024, and I can do this. I can actually aim this gun if I want to. It doesn't really provide a massive benefit, because as you can see, the crosshairs are already pretty small, and if we crouch, it gets smaller. So I can still just hip fire. It's just going to be difficult to control the recoil still. But dude, I did not know this because I really didn't play the game that much back in 2017, but that was apparently a massive breaking point for a lot of people who were interested in the premise of the game. They still wanted to be able to do this. They wanted to be able to ADS and, you know, barely land headshots, I guess. Oh my god. But here we are in 2024, and I can ADS with most of the weapons in the game. There are some exceptions, and I'll show you guys a really weird one. Maybe I can try to grenade these guys. Wait, what? Trying to blow up here. Oh my. Wait, how'd that not kill me? Wait, oh, the game does have sprinting, but you only have so much stamina. Yeah, the movement is very classic in this game. There's no sliding, there's no diving, there's no leaning or mounting either. The game is very much traditional. But yeah, we finally died, and I'm gonna switch to the machine gunner class. You're gonna see something so weird here. I know I just said there's no mounting or leaning in the game, but you actually have to shoot the LMG. You can't aim this thing at all, and there's no crosshair. So this class is basically useless, and if you hit fire, look at the recoil on this, dude. It's literally uncontrollable. Like, even if you try to tap fire, you can't. This has to be one of the most ridiculous video game mechanics I've ever seen in my life. And if you can believe it, there is another game out there that has a similar mechanic to this, and it's actually Call of Duty 3. I like to refer to this as the forced drop shot mechanic, where you have to be laying on the ground to shoot an LMG in COD 3. It's the weirdest thing. But in Days of War, you can't even aim the LMG, and it has no crosshair, so if you want to hip fire it, you're gonna be guessing. I mean, I'm trying to tap fire the guy. Wait, oh, he's still alive. No, the teammate got him. Oh, this is crazy, man. You can't even reload this thing. You have to deploy the gun to reload. So you can't do a standing reload either. And if we try to lay down... Okay, if we lay down, you can shoot it.
And you could reload it. We're gonna put a new pizza on this thing real quick. There we go. And this is what the recoil looks like if you're, you know, mounting the gun, which is pretty fair, I guess. This has to be one of the worst playstyles I've ever seen in a shooter. You basically have to drop shot if you want to shoot the LMG or mount it. I kind of get what they were going for. They want to make the LMGs slow, but once you get them in position, you know, they're really powerful, they're really accurate, they can do a lot of damage like this. But at the same time, this has to be one of the most impractical things I've seen. Like, I know I'm playing against bots, so it's gonna be easy for me to lay down and then shoot them like that and kill them. But if there were still people playing this game, you wouldn't be given this much time to set up and lay down and get into a gunfight and, you know, try to shoot and win. Obviously, before recording this video, I rewatched my old Days of War video, and I was getting smoked. I was getting destroyed left and right by players. And if you're using something as slow and terrible as the machine gun class, you're not gonna get any kills. You're just going to die over and over again. Because of this. Because, well, I'm trying to lay down. Yeah, it's over. Oh my god, we got the good old World of War music. Oh, I'm gonna use the rocket class. The rocket class is fun. Oh dear. Hey there, buddy. Oh, it's over. Wait, what? I got an achievement. I think the main reason why players were getting so upset back then is because the game had ADSing, but then the developers decided to remove it. I'm not sure why they did it. I don't know what the intention of that choice was, but it seems like the developers were getting pretty stubborn, and I don't think they really wanted to budge. I don't think they wanted to reintroduce ADSing, but I mean, we have it now. Now, obviously, I don't know when they decided to add it back into the game, but it is interesting to see that they did eventually decide to listen to what people were saying. Oh god, he's got a rocket too. You gotta look out for the rockets, man. Look at this. Boom! I think when I was just messing around playing against bots, I got like a 5-in-1 with the rocket launcher. It's crazy. Oh, I just got a 5-in-1 rocket launcher. This is definitely the Call of Duty aspect of the game right here, because there's nothing overly skillful about having to use this. What's really such a bummer is that the game just looks so nice too. I think it was on Unreal Engine 4 back then, maybe? Still to this day, there's so many elements and aspects of this game that are really good, really solid. Now, as I was doing some digging and trying to figure out what happened to this game, I learned something else which was pretty shocking. I didn't remember this being the case because I had only played the game on PC, but apparently Days of War was supposed to have a console launch. It was supposed to release on the Xbox One and the PS4, and it never did. I couldn't find anything. There was no gameplay, nothing hinting at the idea that Days of War was ever sold on console, which is a huge bummer because, again, the game had a lot of promise, it was looking really good, and I couldn't find anything about why the game never got released on console. Now, again, the team behind the game, Driven Arts, is a very small studio, and they probably didn't have the funding to get the game on console, but that would have been an amazing console release. I really have been trying to figure this out, man. Like, I don't know why this game didn't end up taking off and doing better than it could have been, but I do have one hunch. If Days of War was going to be released on console, they were going to have to bring back the ability to ADS because people would just not be able to aim on console with how strong the recoil is in this game, especially if the game wasn't going to have aim assist. Now, I don't know if this game does have AA, because here we are in 2024 and the game is only on PC, and if I try to go to the options, if you look at controls and stuff like that, there's nothing. Wait, do we have a controller cursor? Can you play this with controller? I don't think you can. I have a PlayStation controller plugged in right now. I can't do anything. And even if I could plug in a controller to play this game, I don't think I would want to because the recoil is really strong. And I think a lot of people who play on controller would have a very difficult time aiming with most of the guns in the game, except for maybe the sniper rifles. I gotta get killed so I can show you guys. But if we switch to a sniper rifle in the game, hey there, buddy. If we switch to the sniper class, realistically, this is the only way you'd be able to play the game and actually get some kills. I mean, look at that. The sniping is crisp. It's not that bad. Oh, got a triple. It's actually just a lot of fun to play, but there's no one playing it. Ooh. Good God, man. It's such a smooth and clean looking game. Like, it just plays so well. It just really rubs me the wrong way because people paid money for this game and there's no player base. You can play against bots and stuff, but that's really not going to be that much fun. You may or may not get like 30 minutes to an hour of enjoyment out of shooting the bots, and then you're going to get bored and play a game with actual players. And I do think the fact that the game did not release on console and it doesn't have crossplay really also hinders the ability to get more people on the game and playing it. And the big reason why I wanted to sit down and make this video and cover this topic, and why I ultimately found it so interesting, is because we may or may not see history repeat itself with XDefiant. Anytime I've played the game, I've had so much fun with it. Mark Rubin and his team have been killing it with the project, and it has a lot of promise and potential. But at the same time, people are getting worried because the game hasn't come out yet. But the fact that XDefiant hasn't released yet could actually be a good sign. And that is a big reason why I wanted to make this video and why I think that this particular subject is so important. Sure, it has some questionable game design choices and stuff like that, some iffy gameplay here and there, but by and and large, this game looks amazing. It plays very well. Even though it's a smaller team running the show, they had a lot of promise, they had a lot of potential and great ideas. Oh, and that's what happened. The game died. Ultimately, this game flopped and it has 0 players in 2024 because they released the game too soon. Oh, we could play Mirage from Counter-Strike. Nice. Definitely the same map. There may or may not be a tiny little detail that I left out about this game that could have ultimately led to the game dying. I can't remember if the version of the game that I was playing was a pre-alpha or an alpha or beta, but what I do know is that this game was released into Steam Early Access, and while the game was pretty fun to play, it also didn't have that much content. I think there were only roughly 4 maps to play at that point in time. And especially in 2024, I think you guys know, if a game's not launching with a lot of content and a lot to do, it's not gonna hold our attention. It's not gonna hold anyone over. So what did they end up doing with the feedback of not having enough maps? Well, apparently they just straight up borrowed or, you know, really stole a map from another World War II FPS game called Day of Defeat, which is also in my Steam library. And I believe that game was made by Valve. Yeah, dude, this game was made by Valve. So imagine that, stealing a map from the people who are publishing and hosting the game that you are trying to release from early access into a full game. Yeah, Valve didn't like that, and apparently they ended up delisting the game for a certain amount of time, which means that no one could actually play it, and that could have easily, massively killed the hype for the game. We even have rifle grenades you can noob tube. I remember this. I remember being able to do this back then. This is still so much fun to do. It's extremely cheesy, but I love it. Boom. What? Oh, that's right. It has a delayed detonation, I think. Wait. It just hit his ass and he didn't die. That's next gen. Where are you going? Oh, he's gonna die. Dude, the way he pulled that out, that was something. But yeah, I think there are a lot of lessons to be learned from what they did wrong with Days of War. Don't release your game too early if it's not ready. Don't steal other people's maps because that'll get your game shut down. Listen to community feedback because ultimately these are the people that are going to be buying and playing the game, and they are going to give you the most valuable advice on how to improve the game and make it better. And lastly, try to release your game on as many platforms as possible and make sure that it has crossplay so that way as many people as possible can play and enjoy the game with each other. And in the case of Days of War, the game itself has to have gameplay that can be universally enjoyed no matter what platform you're playing on. That was probably one of the biggest mistakes they made, is that they were going to remove ADSing. The game was probably going to be way too hard for controller players to play and enjoy, and that probably massively reduced the enjoyability and accessibility of the game. What the? What's this rat doing? What is he doing? What? He's like stuck trying to lay down. What is he, an LMG user? So yeah, as far as it goes for tying all of this back into XDefiant, I really think that they're doing a good job by taking their time and not rushing the game out. But I will say that they did have a specific window of opportunity last year with Modern Warfare 2. Even though Modern Warfare 2 had an incredibly successful launch, the game fell flat. They weren't making any significant changes to the gameplay. It was getting slow. And that is a big reason why XDefiant caught so many people's attention, is because they were able to fill the void, fill the gap, just like Days of War did back in 2017. Holy Lord, that's a no-scope triple I just failed. Still got them all. I think the main reason so many people are saying that the hype for XDefiant is dead and that they shouldn't even release the game, which I think is a really, you know, immature take as well, but I think I get where that crowd is coming from though. I think what they're trying to say is that the game would have done a lot better if it would have released when Modern Warfare 2 wasn't doing so hot. After a lot of time passed and, you know, a $70 DLC was released, Modern Warfare 3 did fix a lot of those gameplay issues that people were complaining about, and that did, in a sense, fill the void, which could possibly explain why we don't have XDefiant right now. They had a specific strategy, a specific plan, but that plan, I think, has changed. Last year when the hype was really building up for XDefiant, the game was being labeled the COD killer. Now, there's been so many different games over the years that have been labeled as a Call of Duty killer, but obviously that's not going to kill the franchise. The franchise has to kill itself. Call of Duty is an absolute behemoth, and it's not going to go down unless they decide to either kill the game or just run it into the ground. And I do think there's a possibility that they might have realized that. They might have realized that they can't actually kill Call of Duty, and that they're just going to have to make the game for what it is. This whole atmosphere, this map is incredible, dude. Oh, this game is just such an amazing missed opportunity. I really wish that it did still have players, man. And I gotta say, man, after playing this game again and making this video, I really just hope that XDefiant doesn't make any of these mistakes. I really do hope the game can launch and do well and succeed. At this point, I don't know if XDefiant could be the Call of Duty killer, but it can still be a Call of Duty competitor, and it would be a pretty good one at that. But with that being said, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this really random Days of War video. If you guys did enjoy this video and you want to see one of these games actually have a fighting chance against Call of Duty, make sure to drop a like. I'll see you guys later.
Outcome, triangle.